You ever wake up to a music festival on your front lawn? At 6 a.m., bass drums shook my bedroom. I looked out and saw tents swallowing 40 acres of my grazing land, RVs blocking my cattle gates, and a full DJ booth. Right where my grandfather's prize bull used to sleep, portable toilets lined the pasture like little blue invaders, and at the center of it all, Karen Rutherford, clipboard, bullhorn, and the kind of confidence only found in people who've never been charged by a 1,800-pound. Angus, I'm Hank Morrison, 52, retired marine mechanic turned cattle rancher. 3 years ago I inherited this spread in Millfield County, Texas, after a divorce and 20 years fixing vehicles in the sandbox. This ranch patched up parts of me the VA couldn't. Coffee on the porch, dawn fog curling around Black Angus. Timber my grandfather split in 62, peace. Until developers sniffed profit and a subdivision sprouted next door. Cue the brand new Millfield Ranch Estates HOA and its president, Karen, who decided my cattle were unsightly and my fence non-compliant with community standards. Ma'am, my family's been here 60 years. Your HOA is 3 minutes old. She smiled like I'd just volunteered to pay her mortgage. Quick fact, every U.S. state has some version of a right to farm law. They're designed to shield established farms from nuisance complaints. If you document your practices and know your state's rules, write that down, you'll need it later. The first skirmish Tuesday, Karen's white Escalade rolls up my drive, designer heels in ranch dirt, clipboard locked and loaded. Move your animals to back pastures, your fencing and odors are impacting values. She chirps. She said rural, like a 4-letter word. That afternoon my neighbor Dolores arrived with casserole and intel. She'd been at the courthouse all week. That woman's hunting for leverage, Hank. Next thing I know, Karen's husband, Brad, is skulking around at night photographing cow patties like he's building a criminal case against Gravity. Then came the official complaint, public nuisance and health hazard. She timed the county inspection for peak July heat, flies, sun, smell, the whole Texas symphony. Plot twist. The inspector who stepped out of the truck was Jake Winters, my old Marine buddy. He did the job by the book, and I passed. But he pulled me aside. Hank, rumor is Karen's dating County Commissioner Williams. They want to rezone this land from AG to something with more commas. You're not a neighbor problem. You're $1 million obstacle. Recon and receipts. I mounted trail cams around the property and got to work. Public records showed Karen had been flipping houses with, let's say, creative permitting. I sent a tidy packet to the building inspector. Meanwhile, Jake confirmed 3 local farms had mysteriously failed compliance, then sold cheap to the same developer. Coincidence is rare in politics. Quick fact, roughly 74 million Americans live in HOA or condo communities across more than 350,000 associations. Most are fine, but a tiny percentage? They weaponize bylaws like a hobby. If you're in one, verify their state filings. Fraudulent or lapsed charters happen more than you think. The boundary bomb while Karen played clipboard commando, an old survey surfaced. A 1960s boundary marker had been moved during 1987 roadwork. On paper, 2 acres, including the HOA's fancy stone entrance monument, were actually mine. My bulls had been grazing under that sign for years. Cute. Karen struck back with a certified letter about $3,200 in back taxes, and a helpful offer to pay them in exchange for a predatory lien. In Texas, third parties can buy delinquent tax liens and foreclose if you can't repay with hefty interest, legal loan sharking. So I emptied my last retirement account, walked into the courthouse, and paid cash. Was it painful? Like stepping on a mesquite thorn, but that receipt unlocked legal standing for a full survey review, and I hired Maxine Morgan, an agricultural attorney with fangs. Maxine rolled out yellowed plats and smiled the way lawyers do when they smell perjury. Hank, those original stakes outrank the new maps. The HOA monument sits on your dirt, and if Karen charged homeowners to maintain it, she tapped the page. Mail fraud, wire fraud, pick your flavor, sabotage and setups. Karen dropped the neighbor act. She started photographing my bulls with a telephoto lens and hinting to anyone who'd listen that accidents happen around stubborn ranchers. That night my cameras caught Brad cutting my electric fence. Felony endangerment when livestock are involved. Sheriff Kowalski watched the footage and said, "We're past HOA harassment, Hank." But Karen wasn't done. She announced a community safety festival, food trucks, bounce houses, live music, and interactive livestock education. Translation: 1,000 people on my land without permission. She waived forged surveys and rubber-stamped permits like a queen with a decree. I tried for an emergency injunction. The substitute judge, Karen's old sorority sister, denied it. Classic. So we pivoted. We built a war room at my kitchen table. Maxine filing complaints with the state AG and prepping federal referrals. Jake and the sheriff documenting every violation. Dolores organizing homeowners and victims of Karen's fees. Marcus Thompson, an investigative reporter, setting up cameras to film the whole circus. Quick tip: courts often need proof of imminent physical danger to halt permitted events. Always have a plan B that protects people and preserves evidence. The day the music died, dawn, diesel fumes, porta potties in neat rows. DJ booth pointed at my bedroom window because of course it was. Families streamed in. Good people lured by education. I'd moved Thunder, Diesel, and Maverick, my 1,800-pound Angus bulls, behind double fencing with screaming big warning signs. Trailers stood by for emergency evacuation. We were ready by noon. The festival had blown past capacity, alcohol without proper licenses, food vendors missing health permits, noise violations you could feel in your fillings, and every word out of Karen's mouth about HOA authority caught in 4K. Then she made her fatal move. For our grand finale, we'll visit the famous bulls. She blared into the bullhorn, leading 200 families toward the back pasture like a tour guide on a cruise ship excursion. She opened my gate without permission. Thunder lifted his head. Anyone who's worked cattle recognized the signs immediately. Lowered head, pawing dirt, snorting, territorial warning. Karen cooed, "See, gentle giants," and waved the crowd closer. Thunder charged, not to gore, to clear space. That's what bulls do when you invade their bubble. Parents grabbed kids. Dust exploded. Karen ran, heels flying, yelling that my animals were vicious. Thunder stopped, turned, and went back to grazing. Lesson over. Marcus caught everything. Karen opening the gate, urging people forward, then screaming when predictable animal behavior happened. Several parents called her out on camera. "You told us they were like pets?" Checkmate as EMTs calmed the crowd. Commissioner Williams rolled in. So did FBI Special Agent Sarah Rodriguez, who'd been quietly building a public corruption case. She asked Williams for a word about financial irregularities. His face went the color of day-old milk. Maxine stepped up to the microphones with a briefcase of receipts. The HOA charter expired 2 years ago. Fees and fines since then. Illegal. Kickbacks for rezoning and expedited permits. Documented. And that monument. Sitting on my land. Homeowners erupted. Process servers found Karen in the chaos. Sheriff Kowalski tallied trespass. Permit fraud. Endangerment. The state yanked what was left of the HOA's paperwork. Williams disappeared into a long chat with the feds. Karen sat in her Escalade, scrolling a resignation note while her festival got impounded as evidence. Quick fact: many states allow whistleblower or CATAM actions where citizens can help expose fraud and recover a portion of penalties. If you smell corruption, don't just rant online. File: after the dust settled within a week, Karen resigned and listed her house. Williams was suspended and later pled out to federal charges. The fake HOA dissolved. Homeowners got $47,000 in refunds. A court confirmed my original boundaries. I tore down the stone monument and raised a plain wooden sign. Morrison Ranch, East 1962. Our civil case settled, legal fees covered, new fencing installed, security that would make Fort Knox blush. The community healed. A legitimate HOA board replaced the bullies. I declined a seat. No more committees for this cowboy. But I did agree to host a properly permitted bulls and barbecue day to teach families how ranching really works. Thunder, Diesel, and Maverick became local celebrities. The story went regional, then national, and helped push stronger state protections for family farms facing HOA overreach. What you need to know, so you don't learn the hard way: 1. Verify your HOA's legal status with your state before paying a dime. If their charter lapsed, their authority may be theater. 2. Right to farm laws can protect you, but only if you document your practices, dates, inspections, and complaints. 3. Collect evidence like a sport, trail cams, timestamps, certified mail, screen captures. Today's phone is a truth machine. Cliffhanger, think this was wild. Next time I'll tell you about the neighbor who tried to steal my water rights using a fake drought emergency and forged environmental reports. Spoiler, the paper trail led somewhere no one expected. If this story fired you up, smash that like button. It tells the algorithm to stop letting bullies run the show. Comment your HOA horror story below. I read them all, and I might feature yours in the next episode. And subscribe for more real-world takedowns where clipboards meet cattle, and justice shows up in 1,800-pound boots.